Hey everyone, I'm Dagmarok, back again with another No Man's Sky build tutorial. So the last video where I showed you how to make a pirate Galleon Corvette kind of blew up. I honestly didn't expect that kind of response, but it's been amazing seeing you all get excited about pirate ships in space, and I can't wait to see your builds. A lot of you asked for more, and I figured we'd go in the complete opposite direction of majestic pirate vessels, so I present to you the rubber Ducky Corvette. Yes, I put a giant rubber ducky in space, and not only does it float, it flies. Welcome to the Quaxstronaut. So here it is, the Quaxstronaut in all its glory, a giant rubber ducky floating through space and somehow still classified as a Corvette. Today, we're starting out with an interior tour so you can see how I maximized the smaller footprint so you can get all the crew-facing decorating options. On the first level, we have easy access storage using the Ambassador class habs to keep the look clean, given our limited elbow room. On the second level, we have more crew space with living quarters that use decor to block off unusable hab space. And around the corner, we have tools like the refiner and extra storage with a true cargo look using the Thunderbird class Walkway. And a beautiful observation room for crew continuing the yellow duck theme. Just imagine sitting in this room as the stars pass you by. On the third level, we have the kitchen area with a fabulous yellow cabinet accent wall, growers, and plenty of seating. On the fourth level, through the neck, we have access stairs to the exterior hull and to the beak loading bay. A couple things I learned from flying this build around was that it needed easier cockpit access and exterior hull access. In my first version, you had to climb up through the duck's neck to the cockpit, which was, let's just say, not the most convenient design choice. So I modified the lower beak to be a loading bay, allowing you to access the duck just below the cockpit, and a new hull on the duck's back to add stairwell access to the exterior hull. It works much better for hopping in and out now. And yes, this does mean that you can enter through the mouth, and if you're feeling brave, exit out the bum. I promise, it never stops being funny. Now, obviously an open stairwell into space isn't exactly NASA approved. In real life, we'd all be sucked out into the void. But hey, unless Hello Games gives us an actual exterior access hatch door in a future update, we're just gonna have to pretend the Ducky has airtight force fields. Problem solved. This build is all about the meme, the vibe, and the absolute joy of watching a rubber ducky warp across the galaxy. If you're going to take on a build like this, you'll still want to farm up a solid stash of salvaged parts. Even simple builds get expensive once you start customizing, and you never know when you're going to want to tweak something. And like I said on my last video, if you don't already have the Aquajet landing thrusters from the Anomaly Researcher, go unlock that tech. Trust me, nothing feels more right than being able to plop your ducky onto a lake whenever you want. Rubber ducks were made for water landings. For this video, I used the same approach as before. I built the ship out, deconstructed it layer by layer, and reversed the footage so you can see it rise up piece by piece. Alright, let's break down the Quaxstronaut. I started at the base with Speedbird fairings, upturned and snapped to the hab sides to create that wide, rounded belly curve. When you think of a rubber duck, the first thing that comes to mind is that chunky, cute silhouette. It has to be instantly recognizable. So nailing the curvature of the body from the base up to the head was absolutely critical. As I built up layer by layer, I made sure to mask off the blockier modules like the reactors and habs with fairings, wing, and hull parts. That way nothing distracts from the smooth, cartoon-like profile. So if you enjoyed this ridiculous little space duck, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share with a friend who desperately needs more ducks in their life. If we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'll share the coordinates for my go-to planet for fast Corvette part farming. It's low atmosphere, no plants, no wildlife, basically the perfect spot to farm parts with little grind. And honestly, this is the stage where the ship looked less like a duck and more like some kind of space potato. Every build has that awkward middle stage, right? But that's also where the strategy comes in. Layering your parts early, smoothing out those chunky reactors and habs, makes the difference between fighting the build later or letting the curves naturally fall into place. Tell me in the comments, do your builds also hit that what am I doing phase, or is that just me? Once I had the body smoothed out and looking more duck-like, it was time to add the details that really sell the silhouette. For the wings, I used Arcadia aerofoils. They give just the right amount of a gentle bump on the sides, exactly the kind of smooth, rounded shape you picture when you think of a bath toy duck. The hardest part by far was the head. Right now, we don't have many curved sandwiched hull pieces to pull off a perfect rounded face. I spent way too long trial and erroring every hull piece I could find until I gave up. And that's when I realized the phase beam array has a curved back that matches almost perfectly with the fuel pod covers. If we're going for aesthetics, that's exactly what I was looking for. That little gap in front of them, it was the perfect spot for the shield generators, which now double as the duck's eyes with a bonus of actual movement. The Thunderbird cockpit and an inverted Titan-class landing bay finish off the look as the duck's beak. It's kind of ridiculous, but it works so well. And by the way, since a few people asked last video, to invert the landing bay, you just hit left bumper. Right now the part can only face front or back, so you can't rotate it sideways or flip it upside down. But for this build, the front or back flip was all we needed. It's goofy, but once you see it come together, you can't unsee the duck. I'll share the full parts list in the description so you can recreate it or modify it into your own meme build. And that's the rubber ducky Corvette, the Quaxstronaut. It might not be the most practical ship out there, but honestly, it's one of the most fun builds I've ever put together in No Man's Sky. Coming up, I'll be dropping a full interior decoration walkthrough of the Pirate Corvette, and after that, a brand new build tutorial, the Star Trek Voyager, complete with my Deep Base 9 base and a black hole jump showcase. But now I want to hear from you. I'm pinning a comment for build requests, and I'll take on the top liked ideas in future videos. Got a wild concept? A sci-fi homage? Drop it below, and let's see how far we can push these ships. I'm Dagmarok, and I'll see you out there among the stars.